We're going to cast the 1-2 combo. We get the pull onto the Changa. Chalk sees us, he's kind of chasing us down. The enemy is Hades, just used his ultimate. We're going to use our 1, get some good damage on the Changa. We're able to get the pick onto the Changa. Now we're going to go in behind them, use our ultimate, change into the Ice Dance. We use our 1 and unfortunately miss the basic attack. We're going to come up on this Chiron, land our 2. We're going to blink in, land our 1. We need 1 more basic. We're able to clean them up with our Fire Stance. Chasing the Moja. We're going to use our beads. Oh, not another missed basic attack. We could have potentially had 2 more people right there. Okay, well, we cleaned up the Moja. We probably could have gotten the Hades as well. What a do, skibbity boo, it's your boy Shawnee B Gaming, and today we're doing a skin showcase for the SK Gaming Merlin skin in mid. If you are new to the channel, I upload every single day. I add some commentary to a game that I've already played with the intention of seeing what went right, what went wrong, and hopefully there's something that we can learn together. If there is something that we learn together, make sure you check out the channel and subscribe for more content. If you are a returning viewer, Merlin used to be like one of the top picks in mid, then he received a couple of nerfs, and now he's, a little bit above average, but he's definitely not the best. He's more favorable in some matchups, but if you can get a lead and make it to late game, he can be very deadly in team fights. So let's go ahead and go over Merlin's kit. Starting with Merlin's ultimate, Merlin is a stance switcher. He has 3 stances. He has Arcane, which is purple, Ice, which is blue, and Fire, which is red. Merlin's going to tap into his inner potential, exploding with energy in the stance he is currently attuned to. During this time, Merlin can choose which stance to enter next. After the explosion reaches its apex, it's going to collapse on itself. Enemies are dealt damage from both the explosion and implosion and suffer different effects depending on which stance energy they are being hit by. So if you're being hit by the Ice stance, it's going to be a 20% slow. If you're being hit by the Arcane or Purple stance, it's going to be a knockup. If you're hit by the Fire stance, it's going to deal tick damage. In the Arcane stance, Merlin's going to conjure an orb of condensed celestial energy that grows in size as it travels, dealing damage every 0.4 seconds and marking enemies hit. Enemies marked take additional damage if they stay within the outer range of the eclipse. Merlin's 2. In the Arcane stance, Merlin drops a field of arcane energy at a location. After delay, the vortex deals damage and pulls enemies towards the center. Merlin's 1. In the Fire stance, Radiate, Merlin channels a beam of intense fire for 2 seconds that deals damage every 0.5 seconds. Each time Radiate hits an enemy, it also applies a burn, dealing additional damage over time. Merlin's 2. In the Fire stance, Dragonfire, Merlin summons forth 2 ethereal dragons that spout flames towards each other, dealing damage to enemies every 0.25 seconds. If caught at the center of the area, enemy gods have their protections reduced, and the dragons last for 3 seconds. Merlin's 1. In the Ice stance, Frostbolt, Merlin hurls a Frostbolt that explodes if it hits an enemy, dealing an additional 15% damage if they are slowed. Merlin's 2. In Ice form, Blizzard, Merlin creates a blizzard at a target location that lasts for 4 seconds. After a brief delay, shards of ice start hurling down every 0.5 seconds. Enemies hit take damage and progressively get more slowed while they stay within the area. The slow is going to be 8% per stack. Merlin's 3. Flicker, Merlin's going to quickly teleport a short distance in front of him. And finally, Merlin's passive, Overlord. Every time Merlin casts a spell, he's going to gain a stack of Overlord. When Merlin fires his next basic attack, it'll be augmented with lightning, dealing extra damage to the first enemy hit. He can have up to 3 charges, and the damage is 10 plus 15% of your magical power. So in terms of the leveling order, at level 1, we're going to be leveling up our 1. Level 2, we're going to put a point into our 2. Level 3, I like to put another point into my 1. Level 4, put a point into your 3. Then at level 5, put a point into your ultimate. We're going to max out our 1, max out our ultimate whenever we can, max out our 2, and then finally max out our 3. So right here, we have wave advantage. The minions are about to start attacking Changa, but we're just going to fall back. We're kind of low on mana. We're saving up, so we're just going to go ahead and back and buy the tier 2 version of boots. We left Fountain with Mage's Blessing, tier 1 of Divine Ruin, and then 3 health potions and 1 mana potion. We did not know who was where on the enemy team, so we did not buy a relic on that first back. We absolutely should have bought a relic. We are most likely going to be going beads because the enemy Hades is their jungler, plus we have a Changa in mid. So both ultimates that we're going to be seeing the most are going to require beads to get us out of there.
Enemy missing middle.
Kind of just going over the stances. The purple stance, which for some reason I want to call Void, maybe it's from my Destiny 2 days or my Destiny days, is really good for poking from afar and engaging on a team fight from afar. You do not really get in there and tussle. The fire stance is the most upfront and close combat. It requires you to charge somebody while Merlin is casting his 1, so you really have to try to get close to the enemy. Chonga's kind of approaching. We're going to see if we can surprise her. We do. We're going to use our ultimate. We get some damage. We poke her with the 1, and we're able to clean her up with the 2 from the ice stance. I think the ice stance is the medium range between the fire and the void. It's good for poking out an enemy from a medium range, and it also applies a slow, so it's pretty helpful. The purple is really good at displacing enemies, grouping them together, and then setting up for a different stance. The fire is really good for closing down on an enemy. So we're a little low on mana. We're going to go ahead and clear this wave, probably back after this and get our boots online. Since we do not plan on going into lifesteal later on in the build, we're going to go ahead and get the lifesteal boots now. If we were going into a Bancrofts or a Soul Gem, then we would pick up the cooldown boots, but we're not doing that, so we're getting the lifesteal boots. Lifesteal boots are going to give us a little bit of lifesteal, and it's also going to give us a little bit more power than the cooldown boots. So I think this is a pretty cool skin. I like the voice lines on this skin. This is a previous world champion skin. So last year SK Gaming was the Smite world champions. It was a kind of underdog story. I don't know if anybody's seen it, but if you have, it was really entertaining. SK came up from the losers bracket and then ended up making all the way to the finals and beat Team Rival, which was pretty much undefeated and stomped everybody in the tournament. They came back in the finals down 2 and then won the next 3 games. We're going to burn this Changa. We should be able to get here. We just need to land a basic. And we're able to land a basic before we get ulted. I think the skin looks clean. The previous skin that was World Champions was the Splice Jormungandr, and I don't think that one was as clean as this one. I'm going to go ahead and pick up our red buff, make our way to mid. We almost have enough money for Divine Ruin. Once we do have enough money, we're going to want to go ahead and back. We have a pretty strong early lead right now, so we want to make sure that we're capitalizing on it by buying items as soon as we can.
Enemy missing middle.
Trying to let right lane know that Hades could be going on to them. Ready to go ahead and back. Pick up Divine Ruin. Divine Ruin is going to provide us 90 magical power, 10 flat penetration. Enemies hit by an ability are going to have 40% reduced healing and regeneration for the next 8 seconds. So we're going against a Yamoja, a Changa, a Chok, and a Hades, all of which have pretty significant heals in their kit. With this build, we're going to be trying to take advantage of flat penetration. So the way flat penetration works compared to percent penetration, if we take a look at our magical protections right now, we have about 38 magical protections, so let's go ahead and round that to 40. Assuming that Changa has 40 magical protections, with our 10 flat penetration, we're going to be dealing damage to her as if she only had 30 magical penetration, or magical protections. So flat pen is really effective in the early game. Right now our 10 flat pen is acting like 25% pen. So if we were to go an item like Chiron's coin and it has 20% penetration, 20% of 40 is Oh, the brain's working a little slow this morning. It would be about 8 protections instead of the full 10 that we're getting from the flat. We're going to go ahead and change stances to the ice stance. So we went from void to ice. The void is going to apply a knockup. The ice is going to apply a slow. If we go from ice to fire, it's going to be a slow, then the tick damage. So you can apply 2 effects, one from the stance you're changing from, and then the other from the stance you're changing into. Unless I'm running down, I'm really going to be switching between the purple and the ice stance. I'm going to go ahead and use our 1, she uses her ultimate. We need 1 Overlord, and we're able to get her with our passive. Hades is here, he dashes in, we're just going to blink right past him. We're going to go ahead and cast our 1, kind of use it as a zoning ability. We don't want to stand to where Hades can just dash on us. He uses his dash, now we're going to try to chase him down with some damage. We're going to use the Void, we hit him with the 1-2 combo in the Void stance, it pulls him back into it. He's one shot. If we just landed a basic, we would have been able to get him. So the way the Void 1 works is you throw out the circle, and then whenever it reaches its maximum distance, it's going to stop, have an inner circle and an outer circle. If you want the enemies to be hit by the either, you need to land the inner circle on them, and it'll mark them. Then if they leave the inner circle, they'll still take damage in the outer circle. So after going into Divine Ruin, we're going to be going into Chronos Pendant. We're going to pick up 2 health potions and 2 wards.
Help right lane. On my way.
Looks like right lane is in a little bit of trouble.
On my way.
We're going to go ahead and try to send Beset over there. We're peeking. Doesn't look like anyone's there on the minimap, so we're just going to turn our attention back to mid. Right now we have a decent lead on the enemy mid laner, and we're trying to push that and capitalize on that before really rotating away and giving her a chance to catch up, get back into the game.
On my way.
We're going to make our way to the red buff.
Throw their bodies onto your sword.
It looks like we might be winning in, well, we are winning in mid, but it also looks like we might be winning in jungle. It looks like both our side lanes are having a little bit of trouble, so we are going to want to rotate over in a little bit. Right now we have 3 levels on the enemy Changa, so we want to kind of try to bully her as much as possible. We're thinking about rotating, but then Hades dashes. He's going to make the tower before we can even get over there. We're going to use our 1-2 combo. Emoji's here. Changa's about half health. We're going to blink in, use our ultimate. Use our 2, then use our 1. We get ulted by Changa, we get ulted by Emoji. We're in a bit of trouble. We're going to kind of wiggle, and we're able to make it out without using either of our relics. We're going to go ahead and cast our 2. That's going to apply a slow to the minions and allow us to deal more damage with our 1 in the ice form.
Why did I buy this?
Get set.
Out of mana. Be right back.
We're in a little bit. Here comes Hades. We're going to run. Good thing we set up those wards, or else he would have gotten some good damage onto us. We tag him with R1. R1's kind of doing a lot of damage to people, so we want to try to use it as often as possible. The Ice 1 has the shortest cooldown of all of Merlin's abilities. So by leveling the 1 first, we have access to a strong purple 1 and a strong ice 1, which I think are the safe ranged attacks. The purple is kind of AoE, the ice is kind of a single target. We're going to blink in. We probably should have switched to the fire stance instead of the purple stance. So we cast the purple at a really short distance, which made a very small little ball. The farther the distance, the larger the ball, the larger the effect. We're going to come in here, poke the tower, should be able to get it. We're going to cast our ability on Umoja. We're able to clean her up with a basic. We're gonna go ahead, go pick up our red buff. We might rotate here. We might go back to mid. We do have enough money for Chronos Pendant. I think Chronos Pendant is kind of a key core item on Merlin. It will kind of reduce your damage a little bit, but Chronos Pendant is going to provide you 100 power, 20 MP5, and 20% cooldown. As a passive, that every 10 seconds, the pendant subtracts 1 second from all of your abilities currently on cooldown. The initial cooldown will not start until you leave Fountain. 20% cooldown and then additional cooldown reduction is going to be very helpful. This is going to allow us to change forms and really use our abilities more often. Without cooldown, Merlin has to be very strategic on when he casts his abilities because his cooldowns are pretty lengthy. Hades is able to get a double kill over in left. We're going to think about rotating right. We do not see the enemy, so we're going to turn back around. We don't want to rotate if we don't know. Now we see where he is, so we're going to probably clear this next wave. Nope, we're just going to immediately turn around. So if we did commit to the rotation, we would have been there a little bit sooner. Looks like we still might be able to make it in time. We're going to cast our 1, cast our 2. We miss our 2. He uses his ultimate, so he is going to stay alive just a little bit longer. We're able to get the pick onto the Charon. We miss our 2. We're going to tag her with our 1. She's pretty tanky. We're probably not going to be able to get the pick onto her, so we're just going to rotate back to mid and clean up our wave. The set's getting some damage onto the Changa. We're kind of saving our blink in case somebody else comes. We blink in. We use our 1-2 combo. We're going to switch over to the ice form, apply slow. We miss our 1. If we hit our 1, she would have been very, very weak. I don't think we would have had the damage quite yet. So after cleaning up mid, we're going to go ahead and rotate left, help out our solo lane a little bit. Being 2 levels down on chalk cannot be fun, so we're going to try to help out as much as possible. He doesn't know we're here. We're going to use our 2, hit him with our 1, he uses his ultimate. We probably have another round of ice abilities before we need to rotate out or change stances. We're going to change to fire, hit him with the 2, hit him with the 1, and Changa is able to clean him up. Hades is here. Hades uses his ultimate. We're just going to blink out. We also had our beads in case our 3 was on cooldown. So Fire Stance does not have the best chase potential. We're going to use our 1. We get some good burn damage. We're going to use our 2 in the ice form. We're going to cast our 1, and we're able to clean up the Hades. So Changa is running it down mid. We might lose a tower right here, but it looks like Beset might be able to clean up the wave for us. We're going to go ahead and hit the mid harpies. Unfortunately, we missed our red buff, but we were helping out in solo. We're going to go help out right. Chiron is a little overstepped. Hachimon's able to clean it up on his own, so we're going to turn our attention back to mid. We're going to set up some wards. Kind of jumped the gun right there. We're going to go ahead, switch to our ice form, and I love that effect. If you kill minions in the ice form, it creates like an ice statue of them.
Be right back. Be careful in the jungle.
Okay.
Careful middle. Enemies in the right jungle. Okay.
We go ahead and clear the mid wave. We might be able to go for a gold fairy right here. Looks like we're going to rotate left, try to help out the Changa. We saw the enemy kind of rotating in. Looks like they were just going for camps though. Hades is here. I think we steal the harpies away. He's in our fire stance. He dashes away. We're gonna kind of fall back, let our team chase. We're gonna see what the enemy team does. We're gonna cast our 1 onto the Changa. It's doing some good damage. We're gonna cast our 2. We're gonna blink in, use our ultimate, and then change into the ice form. Cast our 2. It's the beads from the Changa. Hades is here. We're gonna use our beads to step out because we blinked in aggressively with our 3. We're pretty weak. We're gonna cast our 2. It's gonna apply a slow. We're gonna blink away. Cast our fire stance 2, and then we're gonna go ahead and fall back. Looks like we were able to get out, so we're gonna go ahead and back ourselves. So after going into Chronos Pendant, we're going to be going into Spear of the Magus. Spear of the Magus is going to provide us 110 magical power and 10 flat penetration. It has a passive that whenever you damage an enemy god with an ability, you mark them and they take an additional 7.5% increased damage from all sources. This includes you and your teammates. This effect lasts for 7 seconds and can only occur once every 15 seconds. So taking a look at our magical damage, it is about 46. So let's go ahead and round that up to 50. The 20 flat pen, 10 from Divine Ruin, and 10 from Spear of the Magus is going to make it to where we're dealing damage as if they only had 30 magical protections. So that is a 40% magical pen from flat pen alone. The flat pen is really effective early on, but it is not effective against tanks in the late game because they're going to have a lot of protections. We go ahead and blink away. We're going to cast our 1-2 combo. Unfortunately, the 2 misses. Looks like the 1 also missed. We're going to go ahead and see if we can gank this Chiron.
Okay. Okay.
Cast our 1-2 ability. It's a lot of damage he was not expecting. We use our ultimate, change into the ice form, and then a tower shot is able to get the Chiron for us. Between Facet, Jing, and myself, we should be able to burn the Gold Fury down. We're going to go ahead, clean up the minion wave, then rotate over ourselves. We miss our 1 on the Gold Fury. Switch over to Fire Stance because it is great at shredding objectives. It has tick damage and also removes some protections. We're going to go ahead and cast our 2 uncombo in the Fire Stance, clean up the red buff. So I do not like engaging team fights in the Fire Stance. I would much rather be in the purple or ice stance. We're going to go ahead and set up a ward, then rotate back mid. Jing is going to rotate left, try to help out. We're going to chase this Shanga down. So we did about 40% of our health right there from a fire 2-1. We missed a lot of the 2 as well. I feel like a lot of that damage was primarily from the 1. Our team is pushing this chalk pretty hard. I feel like the enemy team's about to counter rotate. We get some good damage onto the Emoja. We're going to kind of hang back. Hades is also here. We're going to use our 1 onto the Hades. He gets knocked back by the Mojo thing. Changa's here. We're going to use our beads and then blink out of there. Good rotation by Changa. She came up from behind us. I did not expect that at all. We're going to use our 1, then our 2, then our 1. We miss our Void. I think Jing just threw the Changa away from us, if I'm not mistaken. We're going to go ahead and clean up the wave. We're pretty weak. We're going to let our team do a lot of this fighting. We're going to kind of just hang out in the back, push the lane. That was a meditation. Not sure who popped that. If you guys do not know, Med is not a good relic. I know it seems like it. I remember rocking Med for years when I first started playing, but there are better options in team fights. We're going to go ahead and steal the speed buff from the enemy jungler. Go ahead and take as hard as you can as well. So we're already level 20. We're not going to be gaining any more XP. We're going to be gaining some gold and denying them XP. We're going to go ahead and set up a ward on the Fire Giant, and then we're going to back and pick up Soul Reaver. Soul Reaver is going to provide us 95 magical power, 300 mana, and 10% penetration. It has a passive that our abilities are going to deal an additional 2% of the target's maximum health as magical damage. If the target has over 2,000 health, this damage scales up. This can scale up to 7% maximum health at 2,750 health. Subsequent hits on the same target are going to deal half the bonus damage for the next 3 seconds. Bit of a team fight going on in the left jungle. We're going to rotate over, see if there's anything we can do to help out. We're going to go ahead and clear the wave in mid so we don't have to worry about that. Kind of waiting for our 1 to come off cooldown. We're able to catch the Chiron with our 2. That's a Umoja ultimate. We're going to kind of loop around, see if there's anything we can do from behind them. We're going to cast the 1-2 combo. We get the pull onto the Chonga. Chalk sees us, he's kind of chasing us down. The enemy is Hades, just used his ultimate. We're going to use our 1, get some good damage on the Chonga. We're able to get the pick onto the Chonga. Now we're going to go in behind them, use our ultimate, change into the Ice Dance. We cast our 1 in the wrong direction. We use our 1 and unfortunately miss a basic attack. We're going to come up on this Chiron, land our 2. We're going to blink in, land our 1. We need 1 more basic. We're able to clean them up with our Fire Stance. Chasing the Umoja. We're going to use our beads. Oh, not another missed basic attack. We could have potentially had 2 more people right there. Okay, well, we cleaned up the Umoja. We probably could have gotten the Hades as well. Now, Fire Giant and Pyromancer are wide open. We're going to go ahead and use our 2, then our 1. We can do Fire Giant. We're thinking we're not going to because our team's pretty weak, but we can totally burn this down right now. Having some wards would be pretty helpful. I don't know why we have a mana potion instead of a ward. This late in the game, we definitely want to switch over to wards. Go ahead and cast our 2, then our 1. We get a little bit of damage. We're going to use our ultimate. He uses his Aegis, but we're able to clean up the Hades. We're going to go ahead and back. We're going to sell our Mage's Blessing, and we're going to pick up Rod of Tahuti, or Tier 2 of Rod of Tahuti. I think another item that would be pretty viable in this slot would be Obsidian Shard. Obsidian Shard would give you 20% magical penetration, which percent pen we are kind of lacking. We only have 10% from Soul Reaver. So I think for your last 2 items, the one that you sell boots for and the one you sell your starter item for, you could go Rod of Tahuti for some extra damage, or you could go Obsidian Shard for some extra pen. You probably want to pick up both these items. The order does not matter too much. We are going into Rod of Tahuti so we can deal some extra damage on these squishy characters. If we have to use a lot of abilities on Umoja and Chalk, that's alright. We want to be able to blow up the Chiron, Chonga, and Hades as easily as possible. Looks like the enemy Umoja has had enough and they quit, which is a little unfortunate. So now we should be able to just run structures down. Hades is here. Basset gets some good damage. That's Hades' dash. We're going to see if there's anything we can do. Well, if he's standing still, he's going to be eating a lot of our 2. We're going to go ahead and just run through the Tier 2 tower. So Chalk is making a defense here. We're going to switch to our Void stance. We're able to step out of his ultimate. And we're going to go ahead and clean up the tower. Our Jing uses his ultimate. Chong is able to get the pick onto Chalk. Now we should be able to get this tower.
Good game.
Good, good game.
Destroy the right enemy tower.
Ultimate is ready.
Jing's just gonna tank it. We're gonna go ahead, hop in here, get some damage. Chonga uses their ultimate. We're gonna use our ultimate. We dash out. Now we're in trouble. We used our 3 and our beads, and Hades is able to pull us in. We use our Aegis to buy us a little bit of time, but the Chiron is able to clean us up.
He has been slain. They throw their bot. They throw their bot. Power can always be transferred.
We pick up Rod of Tahuti. We're gonna pick up a movement speed potion. And the enemy team surrenders. Well, if you enjoyed this video, make sure you give it a thumbs up. That really helps these videos out. If you feel like you learned anything at all, check out the channel and subscribe for more content. These stats for this game will be posted in just a moment. Thank you for stopping by. I hope you have a great day. I'll catch you next time. Bye-bye.